Well, on 9/11, I was actually in flight school, and that morning I had a flight, and we were flying around, and the air traffic controllers told us we had to go and land, and they kept telling all the airplanes that were on our frequency that we had to land. So we really didn't know what was going on, and by the time I landed and made it back into the building to turn in my paperwork, 9/11 had already happened, and it was already over with. And so I missed out on what exactly happened, and as it was happening, I was kind of there for what happened afterwards. But at the same time, my brother was in the military, and I remember being really scared after it happened that he was going to have to go off to war. He was my twin brother, or still is my twin brother, and so I was just really fearful how our lives were going to change. And fortunately, he was with a squadron that didn't have to go over to Afghanistan or afterwards Iraq. And so, how it's changed my life from then until now, I have to admit I'm kind of like a lot of Americans. Um, Life goes on, and the day-to-day activities, you kind of forget that it happened. Occasionally reminded when I get on an airplane to go somewhere. TSA reminds us that it could still happen, that the reality's still there. And of course, government, the politicians will occasionally remind us that it could still happen. So I think it's mindful that we remember that it happened so that we can keep it from happening again. But I also think it's important that we move on and we live our lives like we're supposed to, and not be fearful of terrorism.